With us to talk about how artificial intelligence can be used effectively by governments is Chinasa Okolo, a fellow at the Center for Technology Innovation in the Government Studies Program at the Brookings Institution in Washington, D.C. Chinasa is a Nigerian-American and has been identified by the Times Magazine as one of the 100 most influential people in artificial intelligence. Chinasa, welcome to Straight Talk Africa.
Thank you so much. Very happy to be here.
Thank you. Now, many times when people hear about artificial intelligence, AI, they think of some weird kind of machine somewhere, some robot or something. Could you just demystify a little bit what AI is all about, actually?
Yeah, I mean, it consists of so many different technologies. You know, today we've been, I would say, consumed by the primary form of AI, or probably the most popular form of AI, which is generative AI. And so these consist of chatbots, and also image generators and just general content generators that help people produce content. However, AI, again, is many different technologies. The basis of it is machine learning, which basically leverages data to understand predictions or also trends in data to also provide novel predictions on this content.
Yes, and now we're learning that actually AI, artificial intelligence, can literally and perhaps is transforming how governments function globally. In the context of Africa, how do we see AI being applied in governance?
Yeah, so it's still emerging, but they're very interesting use cases, particularly throughout the African countries. So Nigeria, Madagascar, South Africa, these countries, for example, are leveraging AI and governance processes to help with election, with voter management, to understand, different places for polling, and then also helping just generally with cybersecurity threats, which are a very big issue that affect African countries within elections, but also generally. And then other countries like Togo, for example, are leveraging these technologies to help with social services distribution. For example, their Novisi program has provided mobile money their distribution program has provided mobile money cash transfers to communities within the country, given the many economic challenges that COVID has posed on them.
Now, we heard the IMF managing director talk about governance, and in fact, in another conversation, he talked about the importance of AI. In terms of development, which sector could benefit most in African governments if AI is deployed effectively?
Yeah, so again, I think that we're still a bit early for many African countries to effectively take advantage of AI services. But again, I think that social services are probably one of the best ways that we can see AI being leveraged to help really identify those that are most at need, and then also to help scale distribution measures, along with leveraging novel technologies that African countries have pioneered, like mobile money, for example. In other cases, I think just outside of government, but ways that government can help improve how AI is applied in specific sectors could be definitely in manufacturing and also in agriculture. Particularly, agriculture is a very big sector within African countries. However, we see that there's a lot of wastage, and also these processes in terms of farming are not necessarily the most efficient. So AI could definitely help in streamlining and optimizing farm yields, and also helping farmers distribute their crops more effectively.
Yes. Now, we know that one of the things that is undermining development across the continent of Africa is fraud. It's corruption, for example, in the systems. And it has been said that if you use AI, it can actually help detect this. How could that be deployed? How could governments or even other organizations leverage AI to stop wastage of funds?
Yes. I think this is a really important issue, and unfortunately, I follow many organizations within Africa, particularly within Nigeria, that are focused on identifying, a lot of this fraud that's happening, particularly when it comes to government contracts for building schools, building hospitals, building roads, and we often see that there's a lot of duplication in terms of where funds are going, and I think AI could definitely be helpful in identifying this and ensuring that, payments are made as sufficient progress is made in addressing or attacking, I would say, the challenges that are, supposed to be, the tasks are supposed to be done as these contracts are done out. And then also, I think another thing is that we often see things about ghost workers, people being on payrolls that necessarily haven't clocked in for months or even years. And I think that AI has a strong potential to help eliminate this kind of fraud as well.
Sort of force people to be accountable, because
Yes.
there'll be some other systems that expose what's going on.
Exactly.
Now, there's something also that has been mentioned, data-driven decision making. And we have a lot of issues in terms of decision making in African governments. And so how does that help actually countries develop better? What do people need to know? How AI could help in data-driven decision making in government?
Most definitely. Having data essentially lets us know what are the issues, and then also provides us with the opportunities to leverage tools like AI and other statistical methods to help address them. And so AI can also be very useful in helping digitize a lot of this data that we see piling up in hospitals, government facilities, and schools to help us understand, what are the issues that we're seeing in terms of retention and also advancement in these respective fields. And so as we digitize this data, then we can also leverage AI, and so AI can be used on both sides of the equation.
Yes, and the IMF is in conversations that are going on, and even our conversation with the managing director did highlight severe weather conditions, whether drought or flooding. Now talk about AI in helping to mitigate those situations.
Yeah, so AI, there are already many interesting use cases of AI helping in these in this domain specifically. Google in their AI lab in Accra actually is developing, or has developed, very effective AI flood forecasting tools, which have been very useful for recent floods in Cameroon and also in Mozambique and other tropical areas within Africa. And so I think there's much potential for data to continually be collected and also help countries improve their flood forecasting systems locally.
Yeah. So actually, what I thought when I listened to all this is that everybody's interacting with AI,
Yes.
only sometimes they don't know.
Exactly.
So it's something that you would say Africans across the board should not be intimidated by the whole concept of AI.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. For decades now, people have been exposed to AI through recommendation systems, and also things like autocomplete and Siri or other voice assistant systems. But now tools like ChatGPT have finally given people direct control and also direct access to actually interact with AI. However, there are many concerns with these technologies, but I think they provide many opportunities to increase information access.
What stops most African governments from deploying AI in most of their sectors?
The biggest thing is that infrastructure. To run AI, you need electricity, definitely constant electricity, to train these systems. And again, when we think about I would say, concentration of mobile technologies and also even computers, which are, things that you really need to train AI systems, I think this really impacts how African governments are able to develop and also deploy these systems in their local countries.
And AI, of course, again, would have helped to to bring about some of those developments, right? And bring about energy and so on and so forth.
In a certain way, I'm very wary of saying that AI can solve all these problems because, AI cannot build roads. You have to have people to do that. And so I think once you have these roads, AI can be leveraged in many different ways, but we still have to, African countries still have to focus on these basic development challenges.
Well, thank you very much, Chinasa.